Okay.
Okay. Bum ba da dum bum bum. Welcome to the All Things Equal podcast. Uh where we're gonna be talking about things. Um a
I will
fully
save
packed
these.
schedule tonight. Thanks for coming. I'm co-hosting. I'm Lyndon Carlson. You can follow me on Instagram at UpDownProfessional. And I'm gonna pass it to my other co-hosts to introduce themselves.
I'm Eric Don Juan. You can follow me at twitch.tv/Eric Don Juan.
I'm Prom. You don't need to worry about my social medias. I'm good. I'm just here. I'm just here.
He's living in the moment.
Exactly. Exactly. Not a cloud goblin.
Are you guys want to do high-low sparkle?
uh,
Yeah.
So I'll start it off. My high, ranking up twice in Storybook Brawl, and then beating Inscription in like 2 days. That was dope. My low, for gore. What's up, Wash Gibbon? My low is probably this tornado watch and how fucking scary it is right now. And my sparkle is being Uptown Professionals like top client of the week. That'd be awesome. That was awesome. That's my sparkle.
That was your sparkle?
Yeah.
You really rapid fired there. You were supposed to do 7 minutes.
Well, I don't got
well,
much. I don't got much.
well, expand. What were you talking about? The client, like being Uptown Professionals client?
Yeah, so
What
there's this
way?
guy on Instagram that I've been following because I've been looking for jobs,
Mm-hmm.
called
Mm-hmm.
Uptown Professional, and he makes a bunch of content on like resumes and CVs and cover letters, stuff like that. So I reached out and I was
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
like,
like a
hey,
great guy.
yeah, I was like, hey, we should. I'm a streamer. I'm a very popular streamer. We should do a stream
Hmm.
where you like teach me how to do resume stuff, so I can upgrade my resume. And I did that, and now it looks hot.
So what type of conclusions did you come to? What did you change in your resume?
Um, this is what I
What are the
decided to
fun things
do.
you learned along
Not
the way?
not to do anything with Indeed. Indeed ruins your resume. Go to your very first example in Microsoft Word for a template for a resume and just fill in the boxes. And then it's perfect as is. But
Right on.
that's about it.
What kind of jobs are you trying to land?
User experience, I think. That would be awesome. User experience research. And then, I don't know, maybe something to do with marketing. I saw on Indeed there was an OBS technician, but you need like a year of experience. And if anybody was watching me stream last night, not that highly skilled with OBS. Getting a lot of pointers.
We're we're learning though. Like
I'd say we're doing pretty good
OBS is
for.
nice, but we've only been using it for a month and we've learned like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm gonna go into my high low sparkle now. Unless Prom, did you want to go first?
No, you can go.
Okay. My high would have to be that my semester's coming to an end and I only have one final left. Um, which is nice because I took a whole yes. Which is nice because I took a huge course load and now it's finally coming to an end, and I'm definitely not gonna do
How
that
much
next semester.
credit are you taking?
I took 15 and a half, but that's the credit system is different than the U of M or the Mankato credit system. Like,
Mm-hmm.
our banded tuition only goes up to 15, so I think it would be closer to 19 Mankato credits.
Yeah, 18,
Um,
19.
my low is that I was doing a paper on it was educational outcomes for children during the pandemic. And I kind of put it off, put it off, put it off, and then the night before we agreed that we were going to hand it in, I was putting it together. I had a bunch of source information from our presentation that we did, and I was trying to just put the information from the slides into the paper. And then I did that a little bit the following morning, and I got around 5 pages. Took me a few hours to do it, and then we had our class time to fix any errors or kind of polish it up before we hand it in. And I don't know my class. I went into the document, and both of my group mates were just ripping apart my section, and I was like, "Damn, that sucks." But I didn't feel
Wait,
so bad because
without your saying,
um
like without
no, I mean we
without
told
you
each other
knowing.
like no. Well, they can change anything they want. We came to agreement if you see something and you want to change it, go ahead. But it was more like, oh, they weren't satisfied
Uh,
with this work. That was more of the low part. Um,
right.
so at first I felt kind of bad, and then I realized it was mostly one group member just doing that to the entire paper. So at that point, I'm like, oh, that's all right. She has a standard for quality, and she wants to. Because when I first finished, um, they were basically like, yeah, there's just a few things we need to like get it fixed, make it polished. But this girl was going hard. Sparkle. Um,
Getting fucking smoked by me in chess last night.
that was another low too. I was taken advantage of in chess, just brutally murdered.
You were you were taking
But
L's left and right.
I don't think I got no wait, I got 2 wins, right?
Yeah, we don't talk about this. Dude, I totally
Okay.
forgot one of my lows, not to steal your thunder, was getting fucking
Wait,
robbed by the Uber Eats driver. I totally
Oh,
forgot
that's
about that.
right.
I was so mad. I was still kind of mad. I went
Wait,
outside to
what?
go check.
What happened?
So I ordered a gyro, and then the Uber Eats driver
Uh-huh.
like snapped a picture of it, like saying it was delivered, and it was like super dark and fuzzy. And I was watching that. I looked at them as they're like pulling away, and I walk outside, and there's like fucking nothing out there, and I'm like walking all over my house, and I'm like, what the fuck? Where is this? And so I spent like 30 minutes just walking around in the snow. I couldn't find anything. And then I
You know
ordered
what
something
probably
else.
happened?
What?
So the Uber driver picked up your food. He's like, damn, can't wait to get home tonight, relax it on the TV, maybe eat something, cook something up. And he's smelling your food and he's like, I don't know if I really feel like cooking. And that Euro shop just closed, and now all I can think about is Euros. And
Yeah.
you know the rest from there.
Yeah.
Where are you even ordering your Euros from in Mankato?
Shawarma. Shawarmania, I think is what it's
Shawarma?
called.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Armenia.
I've never
Yeah.
been there. I just see it on Uber Eats, and I was like, yum. I always get it. And
Honestly,
they said I was like the top like 0.5% of customers because I've ordered there like 4 times. And they're like, leave a review.
Adam, honestly, I have a beef with Shawarmania. Like,
Why?
seriously? Like, have you tasted like their gyros when they first open,
No.
like 2 years ago?
Dude, I haven't had
They
Euros.
changed it. Like,
They're my only experience of Euros. Like I don't.
oh really?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I guess that's okay then.
Anyway, I
I'm
left a
not trying to
review.
judge people.
I left a review and I was like, this is literally the best Euro place in Mankato. So much so that the Uber Eats drivers steal it from me. I left that as a review.
Is that what you actually said?
Yeah. I hope they see it.
All right. Let me finish my sparkle.
Yeah, my bad.
before then. Yeah, it was kind of fucked up, but I'll let it go. I actually just came from a movie. Me and Ryan went to a movie theater and watched Come On with Joaquin Phoenix, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It was like kind of around childhood and mental illness. Pretty interesting. The whole film was in black and white.
Why is it good? Like, what aspect of it is good?
I would say it was good at articulating and showing the frustrations of being a child and not knowing how to express your emotions or being confused about the decisions adults are making around you. And the other side of that, the same thing for the parents, confused how to communicate their emotions to their children, what they should tell them and what they shouldn't. Thought it was interesting
Hmm.
as a non-parent. Sure, I would find it more interesting if I actually had a kid.
Never heard of that movie coming out. It was
Yeah,
I think it got dominated by Spider-Man, I guess. People are just
we're
like,
gonna see Spider-Man this weekend. But yeah,
uh,
it seemed like it was a very low budget film, so it was
hmm.
only at one movie theater in the whole city.
Oh. I mean, totally unrelated, but I am pretty excited about the new West Side Story coming out,
Yeah, I saw some
directed by
commercials for that.
Spielberg. I'm like, damn, it looks good though. The reviews are awesome too. I'm like, oh, okay, that could be my sparkle.
All
I
right, Prom.
mean,
Hello, Sparkle.
I love sparkle. Hi, it's Kelsey's graduation last Friday, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Nice.
Oh yeah, we just stayed at home, drank, and just we finished like
Almost a complete.
75% of soju of the soju.
There's like 2 shots left.
Yeah, we were dead,
All right.
and then that was good.
Let's do like a family call the next one.
Exactly. Well, sorry, mom and dad, if you ever watch this podcast, don't watch the first episode.
Would they
Low,
be
my
disappointed?
low. They would be more than disappointed. I think they would probably kick my infidel ass to religious school. My low would be what's my oh yeah, maybe my low is just like after the semester's over, I thought it'll be like less things to do, but it turns out there's just more things to do, like from like other people, somehow chores just lay on my lap and then I have to do shit,
Yeah, you had to
that sort
clean
of
your
stuff.
apartment yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, cleaning my apartment is like it's my chore, so you know what I mean.
Are
But this
you?
is
Do
like
you live by yourself?
roommates. I have like 2 other roommates. Yeah.
Tell them to do that.
Are the chores just
It,
people starting podcasts and stuff like that?
no, that is not a chore. It's like it has something to do with like family members and like
Oh, okay.
other people. It's that thing. But yeah, kind of a little bit stressed on that. But my sparkle would be I'm off to New York on Sunday, and you know, I'm traveling again.
You get to see your
It's been a
sister.
while, so I'm just like, what?
You get to see your sister.
Yeah, gotta see my sister for Christmas and just see New York. I'm excited to visit MoMA and Guggenheim. Yeah, that's it.
I was watching a Twitch stream, and it was like
Mm-hmm.
it was like it was like a podcast stream where what they do is they get drunk and they talk about politics. And so these people are live, shit faced, and they're talking about like gun rights, and this is like a week after Oxford. Has it been a week? It was a couple days.
Is this a conservative stream or a liberal one? Or
So they like it was
enlightened
3
centrist?
dudes, and they were like they all had different political beliefs, and one of them, I think one of them was just like moderate liberal, moderate left. Another one was like heavily left, and another one was like libertarian. You know what I mean? And he was like the libertarian dude.
Where would you see? Where would you put libertarian? Is it the right?
Yeah, I would say that it's.
I yeah.
I would say that it's
I
so
think
far like left that it's right. It's
I
like
would
insane.
think that most people who identify as libertarian see themselves as the ultimate centrist, but just how I don't know, I basically their stance on everything is very right wing and conservative.
What is it, like
Okay.
anarcho-capitalism or something?
Yeah, it's just
And
like
Yes.
the government shouldn't interfere in anything. Um, but I
okay,
mean
I,
that's
yeah.
a conservative ideology, right? I mean, less regulation. Um,
Yeah. Small government stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
anyway, one of the dudes was libertarian. Okay, that's all you got to know. All right,
Hmm.
and he was just like shit faced, pulls up a rifle, and he was just like, you know what we actually need, and all of you guys know this. I love guns. And he pulls out this assault rifle, and he's like, what we need is all these kids need to have like 2 years of gun safety. They need to take courses in gun safety. That's going to make the right happy, and that's going to make the left happy, because the left is going to actually have people that know how to use guns, and they're not going to misuse them, and the right is going to be happy because more people are going to have guns. And it was an insane take, and this is like a take for like, this is how we can fix like um gun violence and mass shootings. And it's like nobody
Hmm.
is ever thinking, oh yeah, I'm just going to have this gun and oops, I just killed like 10 people. Oopsie. Like, oh, it fucking misfired, and my whole clip is empty, and I reloaded, and oops, it did it again, and now all these people are fucking dead. Oopsie. It's like intentional, and people are trying to kill each other. Like, that's the idea. And so you
Yeah,
have
I
to
don't
get to the
understand what his thought
source.
process was there.
I don't get it either. But it was just like the shittiest take ever. And
Well,
I was, go ahead.
can I interject? Yeah. I mean, like playing devil's advocate in a way, but maybe I partially believe in it too. Is that maybe like it's also part of gun violence though. Like people just mishandling guns because there lacks regulations and there are not enough practice. They haven't had enough practice to do to hold the proper to how to hold a proper gun. That is also part of the problem. I feel like this guy, what's so wrong about this guy is like he's too focused on that, but he completely ignores all of the problems that will be carried when you have a gun, which is like when you're emotional, you don't know what to do. You can do whatever the fuck you want with a
Yeah.
gun. Yeah, and also like the mental health side of it. It's the whole thing. But it is. I feel like gun safety training is important, though, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess, but it's like that's not the issue. The issue is that it's mental health. It's learning how to deal with stress, not learning how to deal with stress when you have a gun. It's like understand what's actually causing you issues, learning how to deal with people that are like antagonizing you, learning how to build self-esteem and actual support system, because people that end up deciding that like, hey, I want to go to school, either my school or some random fucking school, and shoot the place up, are isolating themselves and listening to people that are just trying to like watch the world burn and watch fucked up things happen. Like that's the real issue. And so are we just going to sit here and argue, and I don't mean us, but I mean like the collective consciousness, are we going to sit here and argue about guns? Are we going to actually talk about the things that are fucking with people, which is underdeveloped like self-esteem and understanding and identifying ways to improve your life?
Well, I think the availability of guns contributes highly to that. Because it's like it's an easy escape for people. Like for kids who are underdeveloped emotionally, they would think that's an easy escape. That they would just like, okay, how do I end this problem? Well, it's to kill these people. Well, how because it's available right there. Like the tools are right there in front of them because it's so easy to buy guns. And I think that should also be part of the conversation because that's when we're speaking a lot about mental health in gun conversation, it gets completely blurred out by saying that okay, the gun is not the problem but the people behind it. But that is not entirely true when everyone can buy guns. There's always, in every society, in every country, there's always people that has mental health problems, even though how much, it doesn't matter how much you fix your mental health system or, your education, there will be. But how do we deter them to, endanger society maybe? It's by eliminating the tools that
Well,
is there,
he was suggesting that we have courses on gun safety, but we don't even have courses on like social skills. We don't have any classes like at an early age that teaches you like what is identity? What is a support system? What are coping skills to deal with stress? What are normal stress? What is being triggered? What are triggers? How do you communicate that? Like you don't have any of that. I remember in middle school we had one communication class, maybe two, and we learned how to public speak. But we didn't learn how to like express ourselves in a healthy way. We didn't learn any of that shit. Which I feel like at an early age, you need to be teaching kids that. And right now, our education system is like, learn STEM, learn all that stuff. But don't give a fuck about like who you are, because who you are doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you can produce.
Mm.
And that's why we're having this issue. So one, guns are easily accessible. And two, we don't give a fuck about mental health, or not even like mental health, but like maintaining a healthy lifestyle and like building that for yourselves. Like that's the issue. It's like both of those things. You stir them in a pot, boom, lots of people dead. All the time.
So my reaction to this guy's take is I agree with you. It's just ridiculous. So he's implying gun safety is going to fix the majority of all these gun deaths. 60% are from suicide and 37% are from murder. And then 3% are from a combined unintentional gun deaths, law enforcement deaths, and undetermined circumstances. So at most, this guy is addressing 3% of gun deaths. Gun safety is not going to stop people from killing themselves. It's not going to stop murder. People are not going to take a gun safety class and be like, well, maybe I should find a different way to resolve my problems with people rather than shooting them. No. And yeah, it's crazy. I don't think what I have a problem with is that for some people in America, it's a crazy idea to say, I don't think everybody should have the right to own a gun, which is just absurd. I've had people who are close to me think that every person in the country should have the access to weapons the same as the police department, which I think is insane because that includes SWAT, that includes chemical weapons. And
like the fear
it's
is
not a crazy thought in America.
The government's just going to become tyrannical and enslave the populace when it's like, bro, that shit is already happening with like big corporations, but nobody does anything about it. You were like already in debt the moment you're born. And you're like, yeah, some fucking politician is gonna like take away all my rights and throw me in camps, and it's already happening, and you still don't do anything about it. But it's like these are like straw men that we're yelling at, but it's like the idea is like it doesn't happen to me, so it doesn't fucking matter. As long as it doesn't happen to people that are me or people that look like me, it doesn't matter. Actually, those people deserve it.
I mean, exactly. I mean, where's the NRA when there are Jim Crow laws? were upheld, and where was the NRA when there's Japanese internment camps, which is all of them like substantially,
Literal like
violated human
yeah,
rights.
yeah. Literal examples of
So
like tyrannical government. They don't do shit.
yeah,
And what the fuck is like
and
a pistol gonna do against like exactly what you're saying, like a fucking gas attack or
or
fucking
like a
bombs?
drone.
Yeah, you're gonna get right to that guy.
You're gonna shoot the drone with
Yeah,
AR-15s.
it's not like Saving Private Ryan where I'm just like dying, shooting at a tank. And just a magical airplane blows up the tank out of nowhere. That shit doesn't happen.
Do you think it's also part of it is because of like maybe like the inherent distrust of Americans towards its government, Like I'm curious because like I'm not from here, so it's like where does that come from? Where did that come from? Like those thinking of like this distrust of government, and which led into like a huge like conspiracy theories movement that you know
I'd say the distrust happened probably the first significant event was probably the Civil War, and then the South living under the Norse rule without being able to have much control in the say since they started the war. But I think the next biggest moment after that would be when Nixon had a scandal, because I'm pretty sure presidential approval ratings have never come up after that.
mm,
Congress has issues because of like Citizens United and um, always having like their pockets with these big corporations, but presidential approval numbers have not always been that way. That's only since Nixon, pretty much. Um, but yeah, I would say that's the big issue, or that's where most of it comes from.
I
And
would
then
say it's just like what
once you plant the seed, you can start all these conspiracy theories and these groups that don't believe you can trust anyone in the government.
I would say it's more from like media. Like what media is presenting to you. So like if your media is from Facebook and you're taking conspiracy theories and it's from like Fox News and Facebook and you're just getting memes all day about like how sketchy everything is and there's all these conspiracy theories like Lynn saying, like then that's what you're getting. And then you shift the entire nation's like perception of like what government is. I would say it's less to do with like actual history and more to do with like what is being presented and the propaganda that's being presented to like common day. I would say from like I don't know 80s. I'm just
Well,
throwing
I
a year out
disagree
there
with you
until
because
now.
I think the things that happen within history created an environment to where the media can sell these ideas. If they were never able to sell these ideas, they would have never picked up any steam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I
So
would
knowing that there's an audience that distrusts presidents because of the scandals and distrusts Congress because of the money, that's how they're able to like push this on the media. And without it, I don't think it would have worked.
What about like our education system? So when you're growing up in America, like what you're taught is that you should never trust the government because we overthrew the government and that's what we should constantly be doing. So I'm curious for somebody who's from Indonesia, like
mm-hmm,
your history,
mm-hmm,
you get taught like the independence movement from
yep,
the Dutch, from Netherlands,
the
right?
Japanese,
And the
the
Japanese.
Japanese, yeah.
Not the Dutch?
Well, the Dutch came, fuck us up for 2.5 centuries, and then the Japanese came. They're like, "Yo, we're gonna liberate you guys," and we're like, "Yeah," and then they fucking decimated us for like 3.5 years, and then we gained independence. So technically, we gained independence from the Japanese.
So I wonder with like any other colonial nation, and the United States is really fucking weird. Like
Hmm.
like what do you call them? Not colonial nations, but like or do you call them that? Anyway, I'm wondering if all of those countries just have an already distrust of government.
The government.
Yep. And then if your education system is just pushing that constantly, then you already have an indoctrinated group, generation after generation that mistrusts the government. And so scandals are just like a little bit on top of that, just like a reminder. And then I would say that it's already in place. And so if you just keep feeding them constant reminders, then you keep the flame going. You can sell whatever you want to sell. Until you
See,
get radicalized groups.
I think from from my perspective, right? Like the main difference is that our education, Indonesian education, like kind of taught us that it's us against the Dutch, like Indonesians against the Dutch, Indonesians against the Japanese. And so that kind of makes a difference because we're like, okay, this is the government that we created. And so we need to foster it and we need to make it better. That's at least that's what like my education like taught me, right? I mean, recently we have been having the same problem with you guys with like the problem of trust in government, and part of it, and Adam, you touched on about this, is also about how the news is portraying the government and how there are fake news on on Facebook, on social media, on for us it's like WhatsApp groups. In our country there's like this famous thing about like, oh, uh on like this aunties, in our WhatsApp groups that are always like spewing out conspiracy theories about government. Like that's the exact same thing with you guys with like uncles on Facebook, right? Uncles and aunts on Facebook just posting weird shit. So I guess I don't think it's the education, but it's just I think it's more of like online awareness of like you need to differ between which one's fake and which one's not, which one, because I think the distrust in government, we should all like be skeptical about our government, right? Because that's how we, grow as an institution, right? As a government, as a democracy. That's how we need to do. We need to be part of the criticism, not just only like praise a certain institution. So I don't know. Maybe I think it's more of just like media and social media. I think.
I would also say in schools, American schools, for every example you can pull of enforcing distrust, you can pull an example of enforcing trust. Standing up every day in the morning saying the Pledge of Allegiance is a huge indoctrination of trust of your government.
What do you
Idolizing
think
the
that works?
military. It has to have some effect. Like starting from kindergarten till you're graduating high school, saying pledging your life to the country every day. I would imagine it has some effect.
Hmm.
Um,
I think it depends on like
we
how
talked
you
a little
already
bit
view
about
the government. You might feel like if you view your government's already oppressive, and you have to do it every single day,
Mhm.
or else you get reprimanded, or people like look at you different. You go, wow, this is fucked up. Can't believe they're making me do this. If you like your government, and everybody around you is like, yeah, we love the government, and you do it, you feel proud. You're like, hell yeah, I get to be American today. Look at me.
Yeah. But I think like so I'm very progressive, very liberal, and I have a lot of criticisms towards my government. But I'm still very proud to be an American. And who knows, maybe if I didn't take the pledge every day, I would be much more radical. I would not have a strong national identity or a responsibility to make change or something. I don't know.
I don't know. What do you think, Adam?
I think that saying the pledge every single day would fucking suck ass. And I think I don't remember when we stopped doing it, but I remember I was at this charter school and we stopped doing it there. So for my senior year, I stopped saying the pledge because we are just like, this is dumb. And we just went on with the regular school stuff. Otherwise, like gun rights in general, like it's just clear that people buy more guns. I'm pretty sure. I didn't say it's clear. I'm pretty sure people buy more guns when there's more distrust of the government. And if I might be spewing misinformation here, but I think gun sales go up when there's mass shootings.
There is. It's because they think
the
liberals are going to come take their guns, and that's because the NRA sensationalizes that idea.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not a gun lobbying group. They're a gun sales company. Their main source of revenue is gun ads in their magazine and their online publications.
So yeah,
like they don't have an interest in rifle.
I think people are just like
interest in selling guns.
Yeah, when people.
I think they have every interest in rifle rights because I think because they want to keep them going. They want to keep the gun sales going.
If you're a like gun activist, if you're like pro gun, right, and your argument is like, I'm pro gun because one day the government could be tyrannical and I want to be ready, then you need to be like on board when like people's rights are taken away and being like, let's rise up, let's do it, let's get our guns, let's go free those people, you know what I mean? And you gotta like fucking shut the hell up.
Yeah.
And,
how many
unless
of them
you're
were,
actually active like militia and like doing it for every single American instead of just like white people.
How many of them were applauding when they burned down the precinct in Minneapolis? I guarantee none of them had any pride for people rising up against their tyrannical government.
Yeah.
All the gun rights people were like, look at that property destruction. How could they do that to property? No, they didn't care about the fight against a tyrannical government. All they saw was their own agenda and tribal position, you know?
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I feel like part of it is also, I feel it's not about, they say it's something bigger, but I feel like it's just their way of having pride. I feel like that's all it comes down to. I don't know. It's like the bigger the gun, the bigger your dick is. Kind of like that. It's kind of like and that's what I feel like. Whenever I saw like Congresswoman like Boebert and like
She
all
got a
of
big
those
dick, dude.
conservative.
I always find it so weird how one-dimensional some of these gun people are. Like that's their whole personality is just owning a gun.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
have some self-awareness on how weird and how hard it is to have a conversation with someone like that.
Inscription mod sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're still, for the podcast, I think we're still warming up. There's Lynn. Freak. Come sit down.
From back here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the All Things Equal podcast. We're going to be going and moving on to social media audience building.
Menacing.
So, last month I started a Instagram.
Face the wall.
And my Instagram was trying to focus on the niche of like professional writing tips and just things around career building, building your own human capital. And I've learned a lot of little tricks and tips for building a social media audience that I think it transcends the niche that I'm in, and it was interesting just some of the things that I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hear.
Yeah. Take a seat, sir.
We would love to learn how to get big on Insta.
Take a seat.
Why don't I just find a seat here and we can continue?
Yeah.
Then.
Why don't you sell sell your ideas to the sharks here?
Mi casa, su casa.
Also, I just want to say I really appreciate you guys hearing me out on this one.
Yeah.
Let me get some water.
You got like 2 minutes. before we get the next person in here.
We,
Okay, so basically, everybody knows what the Instagram algorithm is, right?
So basically,
The
yeah.
idea is, um, you have some content, right? And the algorithm is going to push that content to the people that want to consume that content, right?
Yes.
But if you're a new creator, that doesn't really work. That really only works for people who are already established within that niche, which kind of like brings the question: what's the point of an algorithm if it's not going to push people outside the niche to the niche itself? I guess the point of the algorithm really is if you're an established creator who can push content to your niche and it does well first within your follower list, then it does well within your niche, then the algorithm pushes it even farther to a broader audience, trying to see who it's going to go to. So if you understand the algorithm and you're a new creator, the best thing you can do is mimic the algorithm or force the algorithm. So what the algorithm is doing is it's looking for relationships. So it understands who's in the niche already, and it understands how interactions work. So when you like things, when you follow pages, when you DM people within a niche, when you comment, have a comment thread within the niche, it puts you into these boxes. But if you're new, you're not in a box. So you have to force the relationship. You have to go into these niches. You have to follow people within this niche. You have to like the content within the niche. Comment, try to DM people, just really reinforcing this relationship. And the algorithm doesn't really help you until you have 1,000, 2,000 followers. But my strategy that seems to have been working is just forcing this relationship. So I've been really engaged with anyone who comments. I follow hashtags and then I go into the comments. I follow people who are interested in similar content. So what I do is I go into like hashtag resumes because that's a lot of my content. And then I go to the likes and I go to the comments. All the people that follow the people that commented, because those are the most engaged people anyways. So those are the people you want following you, people you want on your page. But yeah, it's been working great. That's my monologue.
Yeah, you got like plus 400 followers like within a couple days, right?
Yeah, I think I'm at. Let me.
Yesterday it was like 400 something. So if you're above 500 right now, I'm gonna be hella impressed.
We're at 466.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
But also, I should mention this. A big help to my growth has been Ryan, my fiance, who also has a professional page, and she shares some of my content. So a lot of I would say around 50% of my growth is from that. And that helps a lot with being able to enforce the relationship of people who are interested in professional content. The only issue is all of her followers are Spanish speaking, and I don't speak Spanish very professionally, so I don't want the algorithm to push my content or have to change all my content to Spanish speaking.
I've been watching video editors, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them some of them are very clickbaity, and they're like, "This is how you blow up on YouTube," and stuff like that. But one of them did an analysis of Tommy Innit. You know Tommy Innit?
Mm-mm.
He's a Minecraft streamer and YouTuber. Who got big when Dream got big? You know who Dream is?
I do know who
Yeah,
Dream is.
the Minecraft dude.
Yeah. And so Tommy Innit is like kind of pulling away. Not pulling away from Minecraft, but he's like pulling away and like he's making a name for himself. And he's doing videos with like KSI and stuff. So he'll make a YouTube video, and so like you're saying, like what the algorithm will do for like YouTube is they'll identify you in that niche. And so for him, it'd be like Minecraft streamers. And so whenever you watch his video, or you're watching somebody within like the Dream, I think it's like SMP or something. It's like there's a Dream server, and so there's like a select few streamers who are on that server, and they all like play games together. If you're watching any one of those, all the people within there is that in that network will get recommended on your autoplay. And so you got the recommended, and then you've got the front page. And they're all different types of algorithms. And what you really want to go for is that recommended side, not the front page side. And I think there's another one too, but none of those. What you really want is the recommended, because that's what you're going to get autoplayed into. And so what you're saying, you get your own niche, and then you're connected to all those people. But on top of that, in his description, it'll be nonsense. So he'll have a base description of the video, and then all the way down at the bottom, it'll just be a whole block of text it's just complete nonsense. And what he's doing is he's identifying like keywords. So it's not like necessarily tags, but it's like an additional 1 to 2% of the likelihood that your video will be picked up by somebody else, just because you have these like keywords in your description. And so he's identified,
so like hashtags, right?
They're not hashtags. They're not tags whatsoever.
That's interesting, because that's what I do with hashtags.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. So he'll have tags, right? He'll have an actual description, and then all the way at the bottom, he'll be filling his description, which is like keywords, because he knows like here's some like hot things that are bumping off on YouTube right now. And so if I just fill these in, it'll give me just a little bit extra that my video will be picked up by somebody else, and then it'll keep going and keep getting recommended. So that was really cool to find out. It's like everybody talks about an algorithm, but I feel like who the fuck knows that like what the actual algorithm is, and just like word of mouth kind of.
The nice thing about Instagram is that they're a lot more transparent with their algorithm, and if you start a business page, you have access to like this articles and these special links that show you like updates on the algorithm, and they'll say, okay, so here at Instagram Co, we're pushing this type of content. You can do these things that are going to really help with your engagement, all this very transparent things. But from what I hear on YouTube is YouTubers will say they talk to their Google rep, and their Google reps are like, yeah, we don't really even know how this works. Some of them have a theory that the algorithm is learning on its own now, so they can't even explain it if they tried. But who knows how true that is.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the most possible area, because you would think that there are like shit tons of videos that, let's say, it's like, oh, it's #1 trending on gaming, but it has nothing to do with gaming, and then even the person that's trending doesn't even like, they're like, why is it on gaming? Like, I am not gaming, and they're not even trying to even be on there. So I feel like it's what I'm kind of interested is like, you guys talk about like how to gain your audience through the algorithm and stuff like that, and part of it must be to tailor your posts and your captions through algorithm, just like Adam and you said, right? But how do
Absolutely.
you like, keep that balance between being original and pandering towards the algorithm? How do you keep those balance?
Yeah, I would say like it's like a strategy versus tactics kind of thing. So I would say most of your algorithm stuff falls into tactics. So how can you tweak little things within this post, or use little tactics within this individual post, so that the algorithm pushes it up and more people see it. And then there's the overall strategy which is another thing that I've been trying to learn, and it's been kind of interesting of building an audience, building trust. And so far, what I've learned was you have to optimize your profile. And what that looks like for Facebook or what that looks like for Instagram is you have a professional looking profile if you're within like the professional niche. And then your profile colors should match your highlights so that it's creating this nice color scheme. And then beyond that, your feed should have like a color pattern to it. So when someone clicks on your profile, they see a consistent brand. Um, and then also your feed should also have educational content. So if they see your page from a reel or from a story, and then they go to your page for the first time, they see, wow, it looks really nice and consistent. And there's this constant um, posts that educate the people that follow them. So I'm going to follow because I want to see this stuff. Does that kind of answer what you're asking about?
Yeah, but I'm just like, because I feel like
Mhm.
audience also like respect a lot about like originality and stuff like that, right? Like I would take an example right now, what's like popping up on YouTube is like these family YouTubers where they have like, like husband and wife or like family members, kids, and then they vlog, right? And when you actually see, just search it on YouTube, they all have the same formula. They all
Yeah.
have similar, caption, similar thumbnails and stuff like that. But what's missing with that is also like some part of the audience also respects originality. But if you actually see in the bigger picture, it's not original at all. So how do you keep that fine balance between pandering towards the algorithm, which what the family YouTubers did, and having
Yeah.
that originality? Yeah.
I think
Um
like the question
y-
is like, don't you want to just, are you trying to be successful or are you trying to be like, I don't know, everybody's favorite?
Well, no,
well,
not exactly, because like I kind of feel like it is also important, right? For you to be able to optimize your profile so the algorithm picked it up. It's also very important in like social media and audience building. But I'm asking because like people, how do you differ yourself from the others? Because that's what I feel like. That's what makes the difference, the great YouTubers and just like the good ones, you know?
yeah. I would say it really depends on your strategy and your goals. So if you want to make original content, make original content, right? But the thing is, the algorithm's gonna have a really hard time picking that up and putting it into a niche. And the process is going to be you making your original content and the algorithms slow timing putting that into a niche and figuring it out. And the alternative is you mimic other successful posts. You copy their thumbnail style, you copy their video length, their tags, and everything. And within each individual post, you do something that's a little bit different. And the algorithm picks up and knows where to put you, and you'll grow. And over time, you can, if you begin getting popular within that niche, then you have more of a voice to take
Mhm.
that originality. And I think that's not new to social media. That's how all movies and all creative work has worked in the past. You can't just have this totally abstract movie idea and expect everyone to follow. I mean, you can maybe make this abstract idea, keep creating that content, and hopefully over time you build a following. But in reality, the way it's always worked is you play by the conventions of filmmaking until you have a big enough voice to test these uh, these conventions and twist them. We actually talked about this idea in my film class is if you make horror movies, your audience expects certain things when going to a horror movie, and you have a little bit of play with what you can change in these conventions.
I see.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna go watch a family show, so what you're saying is like, okay, one, you have to identify your niche, right? But you want to be original enough so you can outcompete the other one. So basically, if I want to go to YouTube and I want to watch, hey, I want to watch a family of vloggers, I want to watch something that one hits that little part of my brain, like, family vlogs, and then I want to be like, this is also something new and different that I haven't seen a billion times. So that's what like keeps people coming back. And you're saying, where's that sweet spot? I think
Yep.
that's like definitely comes with experience. But if you are somebody who knows like what people like to watch and like what keeps people engaged, it just in general, and then you go find a niche and then you apply those skills where nobody else is applying those skills, then you're good. Because it's just original enough, and it like, so there's people that are in demand of watching that specific content, right? But if you're seeing that within that niche, nobody has picked up like those editing or video skills, and I'm talking about just like YouTube right now and like video quality, and you've noticed that nobody else is doing that, and you do that, then I would say more people are going to watch that, more people are going to be like drawn into that niche, so you're growing that community, and you're going to grab all those people within that community because you're grabbing their attention and you're grabbing their retention time. So, which is something that I'm finding
Yeah.
out more, like while I'm watching these editing like channels, is like how to edit in a way that keeps people watching.
I think too, you can create completely original content within a niche, and you just focus on the meta things to adhere to the algorithm. So, say there's a finance guy out there, like okay, so Dave Ramsey's the guy that we might not agree with. And we can actually use this to transition pretty well too. Dave Ramsey is the anti-debt, anti-taking out loans to become successful with your wealth and your personal finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can have a completely different idea about that. You can say, I am original because I don't agree with this Dave Ramsey guy. I think the best path to wealth is through debt. And that's your original idea. And the way you want to adhere to the algorithm is you take this Dave Ramsey guy who's successful within the finance niche on YouTube. You copy his thumbnails to where you're in the same position, the same setting, the same lighting, the same color scheme as Dave Ramsey. You copy the content. Like you are basically in the same what's the word? Shots as this Dave Ramsey guy.
Mhm.
Everything's pretty much the same. Your titles are the same, your descriptions are the same, but you just have different ideas on finance. And the algorithm will recognize that and push you to the finance people.
Right. I see. So it's
But
like
is that still original?
yeah, I guess like there's like a certain like maybe like a tiny bit difference. Let's say in your content rather than the whole aspect of your profile, so to speak. I see. Hmm.
All right. Well,
Well,
did you want to talk about finance?
Let's do it.
well, let's do it. Let's go.
Wait, how many use the momentum?
The market's crashing. Everybody
Well,
knows it. We're just in a
okay.
slight bump today, but it's
Yeah.
coming. We're gonna lose
Mhm.
millions and millions of dollars, if not billions, if not trillions of, if not quadrillions of dollars.
Quadrillions of dollar.
Quadrillions. Okay.
Quadrillions. Yeah.
I've seen it. The writing on the walls. It's happening. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe
Wow.
a week from now, but definitely within this month.
Within this month, you
What do
said.
you think of that? I asked
I
you
think,
yesterday, are we in a market correction? That's probably an easier question to answer.
yeah. I mean, I would feel like, this is just me. I'm sorry. The cat's just
That's
he's
fine.
just on her game right now.
Your cat is
Okay.
like, oh fuck yeah, stonks. Let's go.
Yeah, she's so excited to talk about stonks. Exactly. But yeah, as I was saying, like I feel like because you could see it, there's like there are writings on the wall, like about how the Fed is now trying to increase their interest rates, right? They were talking about potentially increasing interest rate 3 times up until March, as far as I remember. Might need to fact check that, but they were talking about increasing rate 3 times, and then they were also saying that they're going to reduce one of the biggest like monetary policy in the past decade, which is quantitative easing. So for those who don't understand quantitative easing, or
I don't
QE,
understand.
is so the Fed, the federal government, it's one of those cash injection schemes in a way for firms. Instead of increasing interest rate, or reducing interest rate, because it's, right now the effects, like the data show that the effects on interest rate towards inflation is not does not it's not that effective anymore, because the last time before we had this, our interest rate was so low, but our inflation is also very low. I mean, if you like read up on basic economics class, it says that when interest rate goes down, inflation would go up, because people would tend to loan, but there in the from like maybe like 2013, 2014, we've been seeing of interest rate decreasing, but inflation stays the same, which is like in a very low state. But right now, so the federal bank said that, okay, we need a more direct cash injection towards this firm. And how do they do it? Is they would buy up all of like the bonds, the corporate bonds from these firms. And so they would have a direct cash injection instead of going it through, like, let's say a private bank, let's say like Wells Fargo or JP Morgan. Like the federal bank would just like the Federal Reserve would just buy it. And that's what they've been doing for the past decade, maybe like 8 to 9 years. And so that's one of the reasons why our economy was like doing pretty well up until before the pandemic. But when the pandemic started, they ramped up more of this QE, because of we didn't buy products, right? Because we were in a pandemic, we were just saving money, as the nature goes with economic crisis and recession. So they bought up more QE, and that, coupled with um, the checks, the freedom checks, as previous president said, and and Biden too, with like infrastructure investment, and also with rising energy prices recently. Like oil prices have gone through the roof over this past few months. Inflation goes up because the prices would go up, right? Because if, let's say, oil would go, what prices would go up, and then people need to distribute their products, and they would need gas for that. So basic prices like soaps and stuff like that would go up too. And so I'm going off on a tangent here. But
Go off, King.
I'm
Go
saying,
off.
but I'm saying that because of that, the Federal Reserve right now is trying to reduce the amount of cash that is available in the market. And how would they do that is for them to decrease their balance sheet full of corporate bonds that they've been buying up. They would decrease their frequency of buying
QE.
these corporate bonds, and that's called QE.
Gotcha.
And the last time that the Federal Reserve did it, back in 2012, it caused a little bit of a ruckus. It's called the taper tantrum, which led to like a pretty steep drop on stocks and on emerging markets too, like like Indonesia, Brazil, China, and stuff like that. And like right now, emerging countries, emerging like economies, emerging markets, it hasn't really recovered fully yet since the pandemic. I mean, if anything, I feel like America is doing a lot better than much of the emerging markets. And if they are going to reduce this QE, I would fear for the emerging markets that they'll get like a double whammy here because they're like trying to get up now and with the taper tantrum, usually because when stocks go down or when like interest rate goes up, people would tend to invest more on the safer options. And safer options is like US dollar, right? Because it's one of the most stable currencies and one of the most widely available and widely used. So they would just run, so the money would go out of emerging markets and into US dollars. So yeah, there you
So-
go. I'm sorry, going off on a tangent.
Okay. Inflation goes
No,
up
that was good.
when you buy bonds. 'Cause they're just pumping money out. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. But they don't sell the
Corporate bonds.
bonds. They don't-
Corporate bonds, not government bonds.
But they
corporate
don't
bonds.
sell the bonds. They just buy
They
less of them
Yes.
if they want
They're-
the
they're-
money to be reduced in circulation.
Yes.
Because where the money eventually goes, but this is what if you want money to leave circulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of evaporates into other states. Is that what you're saying? Like through importing things?
I'm saying that for them to in reducing this QE, they would lessen the frequency of them buying until like they don't buy it at all, right? The government is completely taken out of the equation of the corporate bond market.
Okay.
So yeah, they're saying that, and because of the nature of like bonds, right? If they buy up short-term bonds, let's say in like 2 or 3 years, that means the bonds that they were buying in 2019 would expire, and so that would reduce the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. So that money will be gone because it'll be all paid up like 2 years ago, but they're not buying more in the future.
Okay.
For the
I
future.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. So knowing this, right?
Yes.
Knowing this,
Yes.
what does a big monkey brain Robin Hood trader like me do?
Like us.
You don't do Robin Hood. You say, no, too sketchy. And I say, you're not living. You're not
Well, we
living
are.
dangerously.
We are retail investors.
So
I don't-
what
yeah.
do I do? I've got $2,000. I want to do something with it. I don't want it to be $2,000. I want it to be $10,000. What do I do?
Well, I would say that this is not exactly an investment advice because I am not an expert. I'm not an investment expert. I
I'm
am
gonna
not
edit this so
expert at
so
all.
you end up actually saying
Fine.
I am an expert.
I am an expert, but it's like totally cut off, right?
Yeah.
Is there a legal like an actual legal liability to saying you are an expert?
Well, I don't know, just in
'Cause
case I'm
nobody
not.
can sue. Nobody can sue NBC for their stock picks, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
So-
I mean, I think they have lawyers. I think that's the thing, Lyndon.
Well, you,
People will
what,
be
you
like,
don't have
"Oh,
a
shit."
lawyer? Is that what you're implying?
Lynn,
No,
we're
I
all
don't.
banking that
I
you're
don't
going to
have.
be our lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. You are going to be the future lawyer, and
Well, just give me like 10 years and I'll be right on that.
Yeah, hurry up.
exactly. So I will keep saying this until you became a lawyer
10
and
years.
ready
and
to.
then,
Yeah.
okay.
But I would feel like circling back to that topic, I would feel like uh, next year, the beginning of next year, at least first quarter, in my opinion, it would be rough. Like stock market wise, it'll be tough because first we have the QE, right, reducing QE, and then the Federal Reserve's going to increase the interest rate come January. They would stop QE in March. So that will be like a double whammy of like decreasing like cash flow in the market. And so other than that, we have what's happening in China right now with Evergrande just slowly melting down. I mean, the Chinese government, I I can't believe I'm saying this, but thank the Chinese government for like slowly trying to die off Evergrande instead of just like completely just decimating them. They are trying to like negotiate their cash flow. So I would feel like do say go to the safer side right now if you want. Like if I would do that. Like for me, I put more stocks or more of my asset into a safer investment.
So what you're saying, the safest investment strategy right now,
Yes.
Doge.
20
Doge.
put options on Microsoft
20 put options.
that
Yes.
expire 6 months from now.
That's awesome, Adam. Amazing.
Yeah?
Your retention in information is so good that's what you gather from all of this
That's what you're
information.
saying. Market's going down. It's
Wow.
going to collapse. It's going to be rough next quarter. 6 months from now is going to be
Quarters,
Two-
not 6
two
months.
quarters. You know? I can count. It'll give me plenty of time, to actually see the results. And it's going to fall off the face of the earth.
I mean, I would
Wrong.
feel like, yeah. Hmm.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, transitioning, do you feel like most people have the knowledge or skills, or just are they doing enough to invest in their retirement? And this
Well,
could be in the United States, it could be international.
I would feel like in the United States, people tend to just, okay, let's put my 401k into, I don't know, like an index fund or like a more of like, a safer side where you can just let it go. I think that's pretty wise, but I would feel like that the more the more you know, the useful it gets, because you would think of, let's say, because 401k you probably wouldn't go out of like index fund and like bonds, right? Like either corporate bonds or like federal bonds. And if you know what's going to happen, or if you feel like what's going to happen with your knowledge of the market, then you would know when to invest with what, like the percentage, right? So I would feel like a more, at least know about what's going to happen in the news, at least read that up. I think it'll be more useful. And I've seen majority of people like just completely just not knowing. anything about that. And I think that's kind of concerning because also we have this whole new app like Robinhood, Webull, these free trading apps. They're
Acorns.
yeah, Bitcoins, I guess, but I don't know much about Bitcoins, so I wouldn't want to comment much
No,
on that. I
Acorns.
think that's
Acorns
more
is
of
the
like Lyndon's.
Oh,
Acorns is the
I
best.
feel like you guys keep thinking that I know a bunch about Bitcoin. It's just I bought it a couple times. and
You
sold
put
it.
thousands of dollars in Bitcoin.
Yeah, but then I took it out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean it's more of I feel like because we are now there's more opportunities for us to invest. I feel like we should know more about how we invest it, right? About which company is the better one, and because it's a powerful tool for us to actually have a say in the market, like what's gonna happen.
All right. Quick,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is our wrap up here. As we wrap this up, I want you to give me 3 indicators of what a good company you should invest in is. So when you're looking at a stock, right?
Hmm.
3 things to look at right off the top of your head to just survey, see what's good, what's not good.
If I like the name, first look if I like the name, and then if I like the abbreviation for it, so that's 2. Um,
Yeah. What's the third one? Wheels
Mm.
turning.
Wheels turning.
I guess if it's going like this, if it's crashing, I don't want to buy it. But if it's going like this, then I'm buying it. You know what I mean?
Basics of
Yeah.
technical analysis. Perfect.
For me, I would feel like more of kind of like a fast top-down analysis of just like which industry am I interested on, right?
Yeah.
If it's like, okay, let's say tech industry, and then after that, I would look at the company outlook of it, of like, what does this company actually do, right? And then after that, I would analyze a more financial side, which is like financial reporting, like how much debt are they taking in, and how much earnings can they put on last quarter, and after that you need to maybe compare that with other companies in the industry, and then after, and because I kind of like more on the fundamental side, and when you want to buy it, then you would probably take a look at the technical side, which is like the graphing and stuff. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's what I do.
Gotcha.
That's a interesting strategy.
Interesting. I would feel like yours is better than
that
like just
that's what I think too.
a good ticker is like let's say like Ford stocks. It's just F.
Yeah.
What
You
are
don't
you
have to
gonna do with
try too
F?
hard.
You know.
The thing is, and here's the strategy that you guys should really try to implement into your portfolios, is
Yeah.
if you got a company, say um say Amazon, right? And then the abbreviation
Amazon.
is, what is Amazon?
AMZN.
Right?
AMZN.
So you
Yep.
so what is it?
AMZN.
Oh, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
right there that it's not a good company to invest in because the abbreviation is too close to the name. What you want is you want a
Mm-hmm.
company where the abbreviation doesn't really make sense with the name because you know that they're a newer company because they weren't able to lock up a good abbreviation. And
Yo,
if they're a newer company, they're gonna go like this, you know?
what isn't like, oh, it like Petco's like Chewy. Isn't Chewy like something totally different?
I think
Chewy
so.
Inc.
Well, that's why you would want to invest in that company.
Let me see.
It
Chewy.
always throws me off.
I think Chewy is CH, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
CHW,
yeah.
right?
What are some weird ones that are out
Like
there?
I don't know, like the newer companies like Rivian, their ticker is REVN. Pretty similar. but it's a new
SEV
company.
is Sono Group. I'm
Oh
pretty sure
yeah,
that's Sono
that's
Electric
odd.
Vehicle.
That's odd.
Apple always throws me off. Why is there two A's? Are they just trying to be top? It's
Yeah.
AAPL. That's the only reason?
Yep. Because they want to be top.
That's so dumb. That is
It's
so
it's
dumb.
so it's so funny because like it's just going off on a little tangent on those little things. Like I follow like soccer a lot. So those German soccer teams, if you look, they have a name which is like they have a club name. It's like one dot and then their club name. Because back then they they would have like an alphabetical order of who's gonna win the league if they have the same points. So if they have one dot something, they'll be on top. If they have the same points as like let's say a club that starts with B. So so it's
So they just want that little bit of an edge.
exactly.
That
I don't know.
bare.
Maybe that's Apple.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Uptown Professional here. Don't listen to that guy Adam. We're going to record whenever it happens. Make sure to tune in next time for some great content. See you guys.